We move up to the next one on the list, Venom.
Mm.
This movie does have one major glaring omission that does not sit well with Marvel purists. Spider-Man. You cannot tell the origin of one of the most beloved villain anti-heroes without the inclusion of one of Stan Lee's greatest creations. And Stan, we thank you for Spider-Man. We miss you. That, and there are 40 minutes of footage that was cut from the final theatrical presentation that would explain Eddie's fall from grace, but it's Sony. Editing has not been one of their strong suits in recent years. Many have cited that the corniness and cheese factor is something that should have happened 10 years ago. But for me, corny and cheese gives it personality, which I would gladly take over the abundance of gritty, realistic protagonists that have about as much personality as that of a piece of wood. That and gritty realism has outstayed its welcome in modern cinema. I want to escape reality in a movie, not jump head first into it. However, despite some of the criticism, Venom is a very welcome change of pace from the rinse and repeat formula of the MCU in recent years. It's like modern WWE at this point. They don't take chances and just do safe and predictable, and they wonder why people hate Raw these days.
Mm-hmm.
I preferred the MCU when it took chances, when it gambled everything on one movie to succeed. The first Iron Man, which is still my fave MCU movie to this date. Tom Hardy is just flawless with his duality of Eddie Brock and a titular character. The origin is a little inaccurate with the symbiote naming itself Venom and not what Eddie and it naming themselves. The dynamic of having them argue as a married couple works for the story, and it's charming. Riz Ahmed as Carlton Drake / Wright is what lets the movie down, as this has to be the most wooden and one-note heel I have seen in any comic book movie since Christopher Eccleston as Malekith in Thor the Dark World. Sir, you're a fine actor, but seriously, what the hell were you thinking taking the paycheck for that movie? You sucked! His motivation and character arc is both laughable and asinine, of this notion of humans bonding with symbiotes to survive out in space. That'd be like if Brock Lesnar was a symbiote and be like, hey, Raiden, I need to bond with you to survive in space. You'd be like, no, the hell you ain't, dude.
Kill him with fire, kill him with fire, kill him with motherfucking fire.
That'd be like Nikki Bella trying to bond with Lich. You'd be like, get away from me.
Toss her out into space, like, fuck you.
Now, I like some plots that are so bad that they're good. But this is Saturday morning cartoon logic that would get laughed at by kids who watch Saturday morning cartoons themselves. Say what you will about the mid-90s Marvel animated series from Iron Man to Spider-Man and the Hulk, but at least there are reasonable amounts of logical ideas that could work in the real world if researched and developed enough. Drake's just reeks of pretentious stupidity that would get chewed out by Razor Fist if he were a character in this movie. That'd be so cool. In short, it has its flaws, its quirks, and foibles, but I was still entertained by it. And with the prospect of the sequel featuring Woody Harrelson as Carnage is both exciting and disturbing, as Harrelson knows how to do disturbing. Am I presuming that was only me and Win that saw Venom?
Actually, I think I saw it last week.
Dude, you have the floor. Go nuts.
Okay, well, not gonna lie, I was pleasantly surprised with it. And I really like the dynamic between Brock and the symbiote, Venom. And
not symbiote.
Right. Symbiote. Yeah, that was weird. Anyway, I definitely agree, man. Carlton Drake, that was just a one-note villains. Like, yeah, no one's definitely not gonna remember you. So it's like, also, a few nitpicks. The CGI was fucking horrible. I'm just gonna say it right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like something you see in like bad Marvel movies using freaking CGI. I mean,
Did it feel like the Fantastic Four movie?
right? And also one thing, when you have Starship Troopers CGI still holds to this day, you know you have a problem. So, in short, Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock was pretty enjoyable. The rest were pretty good as well. I guess I can say semi decent, but I'd say, and I'm using double toasted standards at this point. I say go for a rental.
Yeah, I say that's fair. It's like I say, it's not anything new or revolutionary as a comic book movie, but compared to what we've been presented with over the last 10 years, what was old is new again. Dan is saying in the comics they should have had Alistair Smythe as the bad guy of the movie, and then goes on to say, no, I meant to say Silvermane. That would have been interesting.
Also, yeah, I forgot to say, I agree. Like, how can you have the symbiote with Eddie Brock without Spider-Man? Like, that to me, that's sacrilege.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. The 90s origin story for Venom just worked perfectly. I mean, I feel like you can still watch that any time, you know?
Well, personally, I thought it was a fun film. I was kind of worried because Sony tends to be hit or miss. They don't always make bad movies. It's just you never know which one's going to be good and which one's going to be awful. This one was actually pretty good, in my opinion. I understand that why some people might have not been too keen on it, but it was pretty fun to watch, especially the banter between Eddie and the symbiote that we would know to be Venom. I especially loved the scene where they're infiltrating the corporate office of who I'd like to call Elon Musk Light. And Venom's all, jump out the window. Next scene, it cuts to him taking the elevator down. Pussy. That made me laugh so hard because I was not expecting that. Venom is a dick, but I wasn't expecting him to be that much of a dick. But all in all, the combat was great. The special effects were a major improvement from Spider-Man movies we shall not name because, like Jurassic Park 3, fuck that movie. Okay, so I'd have to say the action was good. The special effects were good. The acting was pretty good. Tom Brady made it very. I mean, not Tom Brady. Tom Hardy. I'm sorry. It was a long day at work, and it was a freaking madhouse all day. So my brain is probably going to fizzle here and there.
Fair enough.
I'm Tom Brady. I'm being a bit of a Venom. I'm Tom Brady.
Yeah, but regardless, Tom Hardy. Now that I have my brain recalibrated from the hell that was work. Don't get me wrong, I love it there, but when it's super busy, the brain just craps out mid-shift. But as I was saying, his acting was very, very convincing throughout the movie. You would kind of expect someone with kind of a strange being in them to act akin to the way he did. Especially the overreaction when he noticed Venom in the reflection of his mirror.
Yeah.
So I would definitely give it a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Alrighty.